Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today actually I changed our scenery a little bit. I am on the guest bed and I am actually drinking coffee, not tea, because this topic is way more thick, way more flavorful. That's why I have coffee. If anybody was curious, I'm going to try to show you. You know what? I'm going to end up spilling this. Give me a second. If anybody was curious, I do drink my coffee black. There you go, you can see. Apparently that's a skill, but I don't know. All New Yorkers drink their coffee black, don't they? Isn't that like a thing? I don't know. I drink my coffee black and I will forever drink my coffee black, except when I have my period. Then I'll put almond milk in it because then I just get plain old nauseous. Anyway, we're going to actually talk about my relationship with my high school music teachers. This idea was sprung because I recently had a dream that I was in AP Statistics. And surprisingly, like, now I like statistics. Now I do advanced math. Now math is like literally all I do. Especially statistics, especially in research. I still haven't really found my niche in research, and I kind of got to get on that. But, yeah, but when I was in high school, yeah, I took AP Stat, and I liked Stat, but I don't really think that the teacher knew what she was doing, and I didn't understand it either, so it wasn't a fun time. I often drank drinks in AP Statistics. I did go to Starbucks one time and I got a really expensive like chai tea thing and I drank it in AP Statistics, and I always think about that moment. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna do a little note to my music teachers, my high school music teachers, because a lot of people think that because I was a music major in college, I had a wonderful relationship and I had mentors in high school who were music individuals. And that was not true. There is one high school music teacher that I do want to shout out to. She knows who she is, and she's a wonderful individual. This poor woman, she developed this like wonderful music program at the school that she was teaching in, and then all of a sudden the school closed down because my school district did that. And this happens in a lot of towns where it's like you have an influx of students, and then you have like it sort of kind of goes on this spectrum, this wave where it's just like you have an influx of students and then you have a decline of students and an influx and a decline, and that it's very popular in certain towns. So anyway, so that happened, and then her school in the district was closed, so then she moved to our high school, and I feel so forever sorry for this individual because she's a wonderful person and a very talented teacher, believe it or not. Like, she's a talented musician, but like as a teacher she's really something great. And when she got moved to the high school, she had to work under an individual who she actually recommended for the job. And I don't know how she kind of overcame it, because she wasn't really treated with that much respect, even though she helped this individual get the job. So anyway, she definitely, I'm pretty sure I asked her for a letter of recommendation because she was always favorable of the underdogs. And of course I was an underdog. I mean, no duh, I only did band to meet guys, so, but, yes, underdogs rule, by the way. We're the ones who come out on top, and ain't that the truth, because that's what's certainly happening for me. I always end up on top, just saying. But anyway, so yeah, so other than her, everybody else stunk, okay? And yes, and I'm gonna be throwing shade because they were all horrible people. I say that in a laughing manner because I don't want to be mean, but it's true, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why they were horrible. So let's just talk about my band teacher, for example. This person, he wasn't necessarily like, he wasn't bad, but I think he was a little socially confused. And I'm laughing about it because I don't mean, people say like, oh, you know, you're sexually confused. You know, most people say that. They don't say socially confused. But this person was definitely socially confused. And the reason why I say that is because he favored certain people, like definitely played favorites, but I could never understand why he played favorites. Like, you know, it was very hard to tell. And again, throwing shade, he definitely favored guys over girls, for sure, because he definitely liked my brother better than me. I mean, everybody likes my brother better than me because he is the more social and the more, relatable individual. But that's just like a story, right? And then I'm very girly, as it is. And when you're in band, there's a lot of girls in band that are kind of more rough and tough and like masculine. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I certainly have. And he liked those types of, like, he preferred guys over girls, but when he did choose a girl, it was usually a rough and tough girl. And I'm going to give you guys a little example. Of course, I played flute, and of course, I was bomb at flute. Just saying. But when I was a freshman in high school, it wasn't that great, okay? So, anyway, so I got better, obviously, because I was going to major in music, so I had to get better. And I was definitely the, like, no duh, I'm a doll. I'm a cutie patootie. Like, I was definitely the pretty one in band. The beautiful, pretty flute player that, like, always had her nails done, always wore jewelry, always looked fabulous. I'm the same way now. And this other flute player who literally is the worst human being on the face of the earth. She's on the hit list. No, I'm just kidding. But she is on the I don't like you list. And the reason why, well, first of all, she's just plain old mean. But another reason why is, first of all, she, again, another topic, she wasn't that pretty, actually. She was actually butt ugly, I'm just saying. But she was very masculine, and my band teacher liked her more than me. And in addition to a lot of other ladies that he preferred, and honestly, I think it's because they were masculine. I don't know, okay? Like, if I was a man, I would never ever fall for a masculine lady, but just like I said, socially confused. The jazz guy, he's a nice person, so I'm not going to throw any shade, but the jazz band teacher at my high school, he was also socially confused, and I think that has to do with his instrument, because he played trombone, and most trombone players are kind of awkward. Believe me, I've dated a couple. So and again, like, I think it's just their personality. They're not like bad people, they're just a little bit awkward and socially awkward. Now, I do have to give a shout out, because currently this jazz teacher I'm talking about has been very nice and very kind to me on several occasions, but back when I was in high school, it wasn't that way. Again, this guy, I feel like he was making up for lost social time as well, because he often became like buddy-buddy with a couple of students. Like, for example, this guy that I went to high school with, him and the jazz teacher are best friends now. And I get it, they're both like professionals now, but it's not really appropriate to be like best friends with a student. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. And it's one thing if they became friends now because they work together or they work in the same discipline. But like, when I was in high school and this teacher was becoming like friends with people in jazz band, like, that's just weird. Okay? So, anyway, so there you go. So I gave you two people that just a little socially awkward slash, my band teacher wasn't socially awkward. He was socially confused. The jazz teacher was socially awkward. Another music teacher that I ran into several times was my choir director, and this woman, Jesus, a lot of people say that we're very, very similar. I don't take that as a compliment. This person was a horrible individual. And again, I say that because, well, she was just a spoiled brat growing up, and she continued to be a spoiled brat when she was a teacher. And again, that's not necessarily appropriate. So I guess the moral of the story here is that majority of my music teachers in high school that I encountered on a daily basis were very, very immature. Now, there were other music teachers, like there were a couple of music teachers that taught like music theory or music technology or piano lab. I didn't encounter any of those because in high school I was like I did music as an extracurricular activity, but I didn't do all the music things. And mainly that was because my father didn't want music to take up so much of my schedule. He only wanted it to take up like 3 periods worth of classes and then have the rest filled with academics. And he was right. I mean, he's still right to this day. So that's why I didn't do all the music things. I just did band, choir, orchestra, musicals, marching band, and that was kind of enough, to be honest. That took about enough of my time. I didn't need to do piano lab or guitar lab or music technology. So anyway, moral of the story here, and here's where the real shade comes, the real flavor of this. It's not even tea, it's like real shade. So all of the 3 teachers that I discussed that I don't like, I still don't like, and I didn't like back then, and I don't like them now, and I mentioned that they were very, very immature, especially as teachers, and I think that the comment that I want to bring up here is that these individuals didn't necessarily leave the Tri-County area. So they went to high school within this general facility, right? I went to college within this general facility. I mean, 2 people went to schools 3 hours away. 1 person went to a school 1 hour away, but yet again, we're still in this general vicinity. And then they got jobs pretty much right out of college, from what I heard, and in a really good school district, again, in the same general facility. And I know lots of people who stay within the same spot, but like I said, that doesn't develop grit. It doesn't make you a stronger person. It doesn't make you bring something new to the table. Like, all these people did the same exact thing that everybody else did. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't show diversity. That doesn't show creativity. And those are, I think, 2 major components, especially when you're a musician. You need to think out of the box. And these people were very in the box. And I don't really like people, not that I don't like people, I don't understand people who think inside the box as musicians, right? It's kind of an oxymoron. So moving forward, another thing I did want to talk about with these 3 particular teachers is that when they were going through their music journey, everything kind of came easy to them. And the reason why is because, you read the bio, you read about what instruments they played. I told you that the 1 teacher played trombone. To be perfectly honest, like, you either have it or you don't as a trombone player. The other 2 teachers played oboe. Again, another instrument, you either have it or you don't. It's not like they were playing percussion where there's millions of percussionists out there, or piano. There's millions of people out there playing piano, and you really gotta fight to get a spot. I mean, there's certain ensembles you can't be in as a piano player, as a guitarist, as a flute player, as a violinist. These are very competitive instruments. Obviously, that's what I was, a flute player. And it's like when I would go to like, a professional audition for flute, there would be like 200 flautists, and then oboe, there'd be like 10, right? 10 to 20. And for the most part, when it comes to oboe, like I said, you either have it or you don't. Like, you're either great or you're horrible. There's no in between. So, obviously, these two teachers were great. That's why they became music teachers, So they didn't necessarily have to work for anything. The guy who played trombone, I'm sure trombone is competitive and it can be competitive, but I don't necessarily think in his journey it was that competitive. Or if it was, he definitely had it, So, yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I never said this to anybody, and I think it was appropriate that I didn't because I was a student, but I'm gonna say it now because it doesn't really matter. But I didn't like the fact that these people didn't struggle with their musical journey. So they would often, like me, I kind of struggled in the sense that I didn't know I wanted to major in music, and then once I realized it, I really put my heart and soul into it, and I felt like that wasn't necessarily understood, and that wasn't necessarily rewarded, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that music came easy to them. I didn't like the fact that they played favorites. I didn't like the fact that they were very immature. And I'm going to end this topic with a little discussion that I kind of wish I did say in the moment, but of course I didn't because I was in high school, and I don't know, you don't talk back to teachers when you're in high school, right? But now I'm a professional, and now I'm moving on to business, so, I'm not like in the music realm. I don't need their recommendations anymore, but so I can say whatever I want. But no, so I'm gonna give you guys a little story. Like, my band teacher, he definitely played favorites, and there was one time when I tried to challenge this ugly flute player. Yeah, she was very, very ugly. I'm just saying. And I tried to challenge her to her spot. And apparently my band teacher told me that like I lost the challenge by half a point. Like, who does that? Who says something like that to a 16-year-old who like has little self-confidence? Because all women, when we're 16 in high school, we all like lack self-confidence. So like, but I don't know who in their right minds would tell a 16-year-old girl you lost by half a point, and top it all off, and refuse to show you the spreadsheet to back it up. Like, who does that to somebody? What mature adult does that? No. An immature individual who needs to get another job. That's who tells somebody that. But like, anyway, but that's what ended up happening to me. And like, as a 16-year-old, I just took his word for it. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever you say, whatever, like, okay, you're the teacher, I'll listen to you. But I really shouldn't have listened to him. And my brother ended up going through his office. He was asked to do it. He didn't like do it sly. But my band teacher, like I said, favored guys, and he asked my brother to get him something from the office, and my brother ended up finding the scores after the matter and telling me that he lied to my face and telling me that I actually did win the challenge because I scored higher. So like, but you see what I'm talking about? And I don't know, it's just that like that whole thing just really irked me. And the reason why, well, I was 16, I was in high school, and then everybody knew because like it's and this is, I think, messed up too, that challenges are posted like for everybody to see, so everybody in the band saw that I lost, and then the fact that it didn't happen, and the fact that like I was lied to, the fact that like the information wasn't given to me, the fact that I trusted this teacher to like tell me the truth, and it didn't happen, and it made me feel horrible. Like, and now as an adult, I can tell you that that is so messed up. Like, no teacher should ever talk to a 16-year-old and lie to them about something and not give them information. But that's what was happening in my high school music department. So, like I said, these people were horrible individuals, and I'm definitely putting it out there that I hated each and every one of them. But I did go off and I did like major in music in college, and it was the best. I mean, it was hard, it was really rough, but it was a really great experience because then I got to work with other music teachers who actually cared. And of course, my college music teachers weren't everything. You know, they had their own like issues as well. Nobody's perfect. But the fact is that I got to experience a number of different musicians that worked, but like, you know, experienced the world. They studied in Prague, you know, they went to Italy, they took master classes with certain people, and they were passionate about certain types of music, you know, like, and it was a wonderful, great experience. And I definitely encourage, it doesn't really matter, you don't have to be in college. But I encourage all of you, if you're interested in music or performing, dance, acting, music, singing, playing an instrument, I encourage you to think outside of your school. And it doesn't matter if you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Like, I definitely recommend that you go off and you get music lessons, or you see concerts, or you go outside of your town or your city and you work with professionals because as a middle schooler, you actually can study with college professors in music. I didn't know that, and certain schools will allow you to do it at a discounted rate, so that's some food for thought. But I definitely encourage you to step outside your comfort zone, because musicians are really mean people, and we kind of have to be mean because it is a competitive, especially if you're doing music performance, it is a very competitive profession. But from my experience, music educators can be mean in my personal experience. Music therapists can also be very mean, again, from my personal experience. So I recommend that don't let anybody turn you off from music. Don't let like some stupid teacher bash your dreams, you know, and that's for any subject. Like, don't let one experience, one teacher, one school district really shape your view of the subject. Go off, if you're really into it, like, go off and experience it at other places. Talk to other people, because if I let 3 music teachers shape my opinion of music, which was super close to happening, then I would have never been a music therapist, I would have never majored in music, and I would have never found a passion in medicine. So that's all I have to say. Don't let anybody get in your way, because teachers, even though they're supposed to be mature and even though they're old, they are stupid, and sometimes they can even be mean. So that's the story, my friends. Talk to you guys later. Bye!